Let me tell you a timeless story from Uganda. It's about a father, his son, and a series of tests. But these aren't just any tests. They're designed to measure something way more valuable than money.
So let's start with a big question. How do you really measure a person's worth? Is it about how much money they have, how strong they are, or is there something deeper? Well, this story, it's got a pretty powerful answer for us.
Okay, so our story kicks off in a small Ugandan village. We meet two main guys, Mzee Zedekia. He's the super respected elder, the wise man of the community. And then there's his son, Kato. Now, Kato is strong, he's smart, but his dad has this quiet worry, this nagging feeling in the back of his mind.
And here's Mzee's big problem. On one hand, he sees all this potential in his son. The kid's got brains, he's got brawn. But on the other hand, he sees this love for money. A love that he's afraid might just completely trample over the values of honesty and integrity that Mzee has built his whole life on. It really makes you wonder, right? What's the next generation going to value? So Mzee knows he can't just sit around and hope for the best. Nope, he has to know for sure. I mean, we're talking about handing over the entire family farm, his whole legacy. So he comes up with a plan, a way to put his son's character through the ultimate test. All right, so the first trial begins, and this one is all about greed and honesty. Mzee hands Kato a bag of money for a job, but then he throws in this really weird, almost tricky piece of advice.
Just think about this for a second. His dad is basically giving him permission to be greedy. It's such a clever trap, right? It's all designed to see one thing. Is Kaito gonna follow this weird new instruction, or is he gonna stick with the values he's been taught his entire life?
And just like Mzee probably knew would happen, temptation shows up. A stranger comes up to Kato and offers him the deal of a lifetime. Double your money, just like that, in one day. The bait is on the hook. The big question is, will Kato take it?
So here's the moment of truth. Kato hears this amazing offer, and you can just imagine him stopping for a second, right? Thinking about his dad's weird instructions. But then he thinks about his father's life, a whole life spent teaching him about honesty. And just like that, he says no to the deal, buys the good seeds he was supposed to, and heads for home.
It wasn't just about making the right call. It was about being totally honest about it. Kato didn't try to hide anything. He got home and told his dad the whole story. And that quiet, proud smile on Mzee's face, it said everything. Test number 1, passed.
But hey, one test isn't gonna cut it. Mzee's second test is about reputation. And let me tell you, this one is a lot tougher. In fact, it's pretty cruel.
This is just wow. Mzee makes up a story that money's gone missing, and then he subtly blames his own son, Kato, in front of all the neighbors, the very people whose respect means everything in a small village. So Kato is publicly shamed unfairly by his own father. Ouch.
Okay, now let's be real. How would you react? I'd be furious, yelling, defending myself, right? But Kato, he does none of that. Can you imagine the hurt he must have felt? But he stays calm. He still shows his father respect, even when his father is, frankly, not being very respectful to him. That kind of quiet patience, man, that's a serious show of character.
And with that, the tests are done. Kato has faced down greed, he's faced down a false accusation, he's proven himself. Now, it's finally time for Mzee to tell everyone what's really been going on.
So Mzee gathers this same villagers who heard him make the accusation, and right there, in front of everyone, he clears his son's name and just heaps praise on him. And he doesn't just say, oh, Kato's innocent. No, he lists the exact qualities he was testing for: loyalty, honesty, and patience. Kato's true worth is finally out in the open.
And that is the real prize. It's not just about getting the farm, it's about earning that trust, that responsibility. And what happens? With Kato in charge, the farm doesn't just do okay, it flourishes. And his smart decisions end up helping the whole community.
So what are we supposed to take away from this powerful story? Well, it's obviously more than just a little folktale. It's a huge lesson in what really has true, lasting value. It really boils down to 3 big ideas. First, loyalty. It's all about what you do, not what you say. Second, those shortcuts might look tempting, but they're just an illusion. Real success comes from patience and honesty.
And finally, the biggest prize here wasn't the farm, it was the incredible character Cato showed he had. And that's the story's big reveal about true wealth. It's not about money, it's not about property, it's like an internal currency. A character that's built from loyalty, honesty, and patience. That was the real legacy Mzee was trying to hand down.
And that kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves, doesn't it? I mean, we live in a world that's just full of shortcuts, get-rich-quick schemes, and easy answers. So when you're faced with all that, what values do you hang on to? What's your character really worth?